What happens when you have something that you are working towards and you get it? Your goals are achieved, your performance is where you imagined it to be. Maybe it's even exceeded it. And so, with this example that I've been sharing with my Substack journey, one of my original metrics associated with my goal of creating a valuable, impactful Substack was 2,000 free subscribers and 500 paid subscribers. I actually forgot about this, but as I was scribbling through my notes from about a month ago, I had that scribbled into the corner. And that is because in society, in corporate culture, with anything from our weight to our self evaluation about if we've made it or not, whether it's what we've achieved at a certain age, a lot of that revolves around these numbers, these success metrics. What have you achieved by age 20, 30, 40, 60? How much money do you make? How many followers do I have? When I put this post, how many likes do I have? Percentage of engagement, things like that. And so I wanted to feel how I would feel if I got my goal, right? Of 2,000 free and 500 paid subscribers by, I don't know, whatever it was, the end of the year. And I thought, this was all scribbled on my page in my notebook. I thought I would feel great. And I felt successful. I felt validated. I'd feel seen. I felt like people love me and this is how they're showing value and they're listening to me, right? Um, and this really like builds that feeling of being seen, of being heard, especially for creatives who are putting out all our work. But here's the truth. In knowing myself, in having put goals like this in the past, in other areas of life, whenever I have come close to achieving it, or maybe even achieved it, I don't feel any of those things that I imagine that I would feel. In truth, what happens is I just make a new goal. I have to grow it. Now I have to do this. Now, that this part of whatever I'm doing is established. Now I'm going to focus on this other thing. And we keep making these new goals. This is us in the hamster wheel of our imagined successes. And that is why this video is titled like that. It's a little bit of a lie on success metrics, right? It'll make you feel like you're on top of the world. If it's an income goal, whatever it is, wherever there's a numerical value, right? The number on a weight scale. And the lie here is not that success matrix are wrong and bad. That's not it at all. But they are a part, a piece of the creative process. And why they're amazing is that they're actually directional. The metrics are ideal metrics or success metrics or goals, whatever. They are actually providing us direction and informing where this direction is going. I see them more as navigational tools rather than a goal unto themselves. And I know this in my mind. And yet, for a few weeks, I was so seduced by every a marketing blog or any piece of information that would promise me that if I did whatever they outlined, I would get my metrics. And this is where we get very limited and almost take our human creative spirit or source out of our own creative process, which is the theme that we're looking at this Aries season. And for me, I sat with this, not only this realization, but just even looking back at things that I've done, how much did I actually sit and enjoy my success? How much did I savor it? How much did I appreciate the people, the processes, the life occurrences that made all of this possible? I didn't. Especially when I was younger, I didn't. And so, appreciation becomes the checkbox, like a task that I have to do. Okay, now I achieved this, so I'm gonna do a thank you post. Okay, I achieved this, and I guess, yeah, I really should enjoy it, but I think about enjoying it versus actually savoring the thing that I've worked so hard to create. And this is not just me, this is societal. We are almost programmed to keep following this carrot that is dangled in front of us. And we do it to ourselves, right? This is learned behavior. We keep following this dangled carrot. And whenever we have the sense that it's close to us, we just push the carrot further, as if we are only motivated by metrics. And that is not the case for most humans. Again, it is a very important and helpful part in the directionality of where we're going. If I do something and put something out there and everyone hates it or no one likes it and no one looks, that can give me some information on whether this piece is actually valuable to anyone. And then I have ways to reflect on it. Maybe the piece is actually great, but I put it out at the wrong time. Or the title is nothing to do with the content, or there's something else wrong, or maybe the content is just really not that great, right? Or my audience is wrong. It could be a million things. And that's where our metrics are actually helpful. But this when we sit in the hyperbolize, I don't know if that's a word, but when we hyperbolize the importance of metrics, we actually push ourselves more into this mind created, societally informed attachment type paradigm to creating. And that, as I mentioned before, is absent the human spirit. And so again, metrics are important. They provide us direction, but their role in our creative process is navigational. It is directional. And why is this important as we're exploring creative process is because one of the other themes associated with Aries and the creative process is our identity. And so if I'm standing here several months from now and I don't know, met my Substack goals, right? The goals that I originally set out for myself, I imagine I would feel amazing. And like I said, I'd feel valuable and now I'm heard. And now that is sort of feeding my sense of identity. Maybe it feeds my arrogance. Maybe it does encourage me to a certain degree, but I can't guarantee that that's going to take place without also inflating my lower nature, right? We all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. We all want to feel like we matter and we are valued. We all want to feel like we belong. These are basic human things. And yet there are nuances in how each of us put things out and then how we consume the world. And this is where identity is essential, because if our identity is wrapped up in our metrics, then that creates our sense of self. It creates the lens and the mechanism in our mind through which we view the world and we perceive the world, situations, and other people. So if I failed and I didn't achieve whatever my metrics were, then now I am viewing life through the lens of failure, through the lens of I wanted to, I tried, and I couldn't do it, right? And again, there's a lot of shades of gray and nuances here for every person, right? A lot of people are very good at trying a lot of different things, pivoting, changing. And some of us are maybe more hesitant, we're maybe a little bit more risk averse. And again, all this forms and evolves our identity. And the identity is important because if you desire becoming a creator of your life experience, then what we have to do is actually step out of these mind created, where we create things from our mind and our mind likes things that it can count. Our mind likes things that it knows from past experience. Our mind likes to view things that are showing up today and cross-reference this with our past experiences and our memory. Our mind is less comfortable, like our mental body is less comfortable with unknowability, whatever it is that is unknown, and the risk it takes to actually step forward into that. And so when we're creating anything, there isn't a surefire confirmation that this will happen exactly as we plan it, right? There is a level of unknowability here. But as we are shifting out of the mentally controlled matrix of creating, we get to shift into true creatorship, which to me is a little bit more heart-filled, soul led and soul directed versus societally so. And in this form of creatorship, when we can hold ourselves there, when we are in our processes, when we're doing our research, when we're planning, when we're building out whatever strategy it is, when we're noodling with ideas, when we're speaking to people, we actually do all of those little creative processes from a place of that neutrality. We speak from there, we create from there, we ideate from there, we refine from there. And whenever we have tools like the previous video was on including the elements of time and love, giving ourselves time, acknowledging the relational aspects of what we're creating, speaking with people, checking in with our family, the people who are supporting us, right? They may not support our physical creation, but if we're living with people, they support the environment, our home or our workspaces, whatever. We are able to include all of these things that orbit our field and then speak from there. And this is a really beautiful invitation this Aries season in 2025, where we shift more into, we're shifting out of what's often called problem consciousness and into solution consciousness. And so when we liberate our identity structure from over attaching to metrics, to outcomes, we then free ourselves and then stand in our solution-based realities and then create from there, knowing that as problems rise, it's fine because we're standing in a solution frequency. And this involves a lot of elements like trusting in ourselves, trusting the process, trusting the unknown, including relational elements of creation, genuine gratitude and appreciation, not just for like our audiences, but also for our friends and family, for example. And this is also, it also brings, especially for me, this is bringing a slow sweetness and a simplicity to whatever it is that I'm creating. Because when I started this journey and I was really gung ho for the first week on my metrics, I overcomplicated a lot of what I am supposed to be doing, right? The keyword being, I am supposed to be doing these things in order to get me to a place of success, which is also creating a lot more problems and rigidity in my mind frame, in my mental frameworks, as opposed to where I stand now with Substack. And again, this will change and evolve, and I'm sure I'll get, frustrated and have my ups and downs. But as of right now, the normalization I have come to is I've simplified a lot of things. And so simplicity is the medicine of overcomplication. It is the medicine of exhaustion, especially chronic exhaustion, which should not be normalized anymore. It doesn't need to be. Getting to create something, getting to change something in your life, whether it's lifestyle or health, whether it's projects or writing a book or, planning your travel or figuring out a new line of income, that is beautiful. That is joyful. That is an opportunity. That's a why not? So if any of these other, lower octaves, lower aspects of our personality come in, that comes because we are overly attached, locked in metrics, and our identity is aligned with that. And so this call to liberate ourselves is really, really important with this Aries season because it is setting us up for the rest of the year. And again, the big theme for this season that we've been exploring, you and I, on Substack, is how to sustain this. And this sustainment, sustaining our creative process, this is about refining something so that there is longevity and legacy with what we are doing. And so I hope this meets you where you are, and I hope this is helpful. Please share and comment. And especially if you are in a creative process or you're ideating something or you're bringing something out into the world, I would love to know if certain elements of what we've been looking at so far through this Aries season have been or have not been resonating with you. Have a beautiful day.